You know that feeling, right? That sinking in your stomach when a project just fails or a big mistake gets made. Our first instinct almost always is to figure out who's responsible. But what if that's the absolute wrong question to be asking? Today, we're going to dig into a totally different way of looking at failure, one that helps us understand not just what went wrong, but the deeper why behind it. So, picture it. A huge project goes completely off the rails. A critical error somehow slips through all the checks. What's the first question that pops into pretty much everyone's head? Okay, who is to blame? It's a natural reaction, almost instinctual, to find the person at fault. But this right here, this is where we often start heading down the wrong path. That instinct to point the finger, it can really lead us down a dead-end street. So let's try to reframe this a little bit. Instead of calling it a mistake or a failure, let's use a more neutral word for it, a deviation. All it means is that something departed from the expected outcome. That's it. Now, when we hear a word like deviation, our brain kind of just jumps straight to failure. But that's a really crucial misunderstanding. The big idea here is that not every deviation is the end of the story. It's not just a loss. So if they aren't all failures, then what in the world are they? Well, some of them are warnings. You should think of them like signal flares shot up from deep inside your system, basically screaming that something needs your attention. They are opportunities, just disguised as problems. So what are these deviations actually warning us about? They're signaling that something in the system, the process, the tools, maybe the overall environment, created the perfect conditions for an error to happen. See how the focus suddenly shifts? It moves away from the individual and lands right on the context they're working in. Okay, so if we accept this idea, it completely changes how we respond to things. It means we have to start asking totally different questions when things go wrong, moving ourselves away from that blame mindset and toward a solution-focused one. And this is right back where we started, isn't it? Asking who messed up. It's just a reactive and, honestly, a pretty useless approach. I mean, sure, finding a culprit might feel satisfying for a second, but all it really does is create fear and defensiveness. And you know what? It almost never stops the same problem from happening all over again. We need a much better question, and here it is. What condition made this mistake possible? Can you feel that shift? It moves us away from accusation and into investigation, away from the person and onto the process. It's a question that's driven by curiosity, not by blame. So this fundamental difference in questioning, it creates two completely different kinds of organizations, two different kinds of teams. Let's actually put them side by side and take a look at how a weak system and a strong system respond to the exact same deviation. And while the difference is it's stark. Weak systems, they blame an individual, they close the case, and they just move on, completely missing the real root cause. But strong systems, they look for trends. They zero in on weaknesses in the process itself. Their entire goal is to prevent that problem from ever happening again by making the system stronger. And this all leads us to the ultimate goal, right? It's not just about fixing little one-off errors. It's about building a dynamic system that is constantly improving itself. A system that actually learns. And here it is. This is the payoff. Quality doesn't get better by punishing people for mistakes. No, it improves when the systems learn from those mistakes. Every single deviation, when you treat it like a warning, becomes the raw data that fuels real, lasting improvement. So how does the system actually learn? Well, it follows these three simple but really powerful steps you see in a strong system. First, you look for trends that go beyond just this one single incident. Second, you focus your investigation on the weaknesses in the process, not the people. And third, you design solutions that prevent that problem from ever coming back, for anybody. So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. The very next time something goes wrong, just pause. Before you ask who, try asking what. Because that so-called failure you're looking at, it might just be the most valuable warning you get all year.